Big smiles.
Evening, everybody, and welcome to Just a Little Bit, episode 14, No Lair Like Home. I'm Evan, and I'm the GM here at Just a Little Bit, and before we jump into tonight's stream, I just want to give a quick announcement. This Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be continuing our exploration of the Cortex system. We're going to be running our very own Session 0 for our homebrew game, Proclaimers of Heroes, where our players are going to take on the mantles of the muses of ancient Greece and search for mythical heroes and see if they can somehow force them to be legends, or help them to be legends, depending on how it goes. Guiding them down the path, and getting into some trouble along the way. If you enjoy mythical monsters, lots of pop culture references, and story-driven games, come and join us as we make characters and talk about the setting. It's a great chance to learn the Cortex system right along with us. Tonight, we rejoin our party deep within the lair of the pearlescent pink dragon, Lord Meadowsweet, still reeling from the discovery that their potential ally was actually a member of a species of dragons created over 500 years ago from stolen human emotions and forged to be weapons in a war that has long since ended. They currently reel from the side effects of an unwanted teleportation deep into Lord Meadowsweet's lair, the party finding themselves in dire straits. Changed into his massive pearlescent pink draconic form, Lord Meadowsweet has bid them to run, as a wave of emotion chokes them with the feelings of disappointment and knowing that they've broken their loved ones' hearts. He would rather enjoy some entertainment before he dines. The massive cavern of his horde are unfamiliar, and yet the party has the sneaking suspicion that they aren't in Truehome anymore. Now let's dive in. For each of you, the room around you is a stunning sea of treasures, the kind of hoard adventurers can only dream about. Mountains of coins and exotic art pieces rise and fall like frozen waves of wealth around you. Sadly, the usually heartwarming sound of golden coins clinking against each other doesn't fill you with quite the same sense of joy as normal, most likely because of the presence of a massive octopus-like creature staring at you with gigantic rhinestone eyes as it drags itself forth from the treasure on tentacles studded and covered with jagged and broken gold coins. Far away, you can hear the voice of Lord Meadowsweet echoing down the hallway behind you. I do so hope you aren't wasting my time that I so graciously gave you. I would hate to be disappointed about after waiting for so long to finally get a chance to hunt. Do be a dear and make it a challenge. Just beyond the creature, a large vault door sits closed on the far wall of the horde, a possible escape, if you can get to it. What would you like to do?
Are we in initiative?
I will say at this moment, it has come crashing out of the pile of treasure. Things are flying everywhere. It is unrolling itself. It hasn't started to attack you yet. You have like a split second to think about what you're going to want to do. If your answer is you're going to attack it, it's aware you're there, you're not going to get surprised on it, then we would roll initiative.
I'm going to look over at everyone else and go, anyone got anything for this?
Shit. I'm gonna go ahead and pull out a Troika card and cast second level aid, which for 3 of the party members, you get your maximum hit points increased by 5, and you get 5 additional hit points.
As soon as that happens and the magic sparks off of Flip's hands, the creature's eyes snap over towards Flip, and it digs into the marble underneath it with these horrible screeching noise, and it lunges towards you. And so we are going to roll initiative.
Which of us are getting it?
Everyone rolls initiative.
Am I able to complete the spell?
Yes, that spell triggered its aggression.
Okay. It's going to be Calvin, Thorn, and I think Fallon. Yeah.
Twid, you just stay in the back.
You're ranged, Twid. I'm squishy too.
I will say this, like, drag octopus though does seem very up Flip's alley.
Actually,
Flip, is this your ex?
Insert tentacle porn.
Tentacles. Tentacles.
Did
I don't think
quite a
we
long
don't
night
tentacle
with-
shame.
We should start, though. We should start.
All right, so everybody wants to roll their initiative and toss it into the initiative tracker. Just let me know when everyone's done.
Twit is done. It didn't go well.
We're all done.
I'm done. At least we all rolled really, really poorly. As a group.
Excuse you. I can't.
As the-
Of course, Thorn did well.
It's hard.
Thorn
to
was
be
ready for a
perfect.
throwdown. Ooh, let's just slide that around really quick. All right, so as you cast the spell and it finishes, the spark of your magic kind of glitters across the coins and little diamonds and jewels all around you, kind of casting the light of your magic back at you in a little bit of like a strobe. As it does, you see the creature's rhinestone eyes clasp onto you, and it starts to pull itself across the floor. You can hear the screech of broken coins across the marble as it gets closer. And Thorn, you get to act first.
Thorn's gonna run up and stab it.
All right.
$13?
13 does not hit. So you slam down with your, or you slice out with your sword, and the second you do, you can just slaps it out of the air. And you can see the couple little coins go flying, and a couple of them like ping, 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 pelt you in the face as it sends part of the horde flying at you.
Okay, next hit was a 21.
21? 21 definitely hits. So kind of shaking the coins out of your face and like slapping them away, the second strike slides out and you catch it. And you feel like your sword hit it, and it kind of, you can even hear the sound of it like digging through its tough skin.
Oh, I don't even bother wiping them away from my face for the moment. I know where it is. And that's 10 points of damage.
10 points of damage? All right. And what kind of damage is it?
Slashing.
Slashing? All right. Okay. Let's keep going.
Do I feel as if my blades are not as effective as they normally are?
No, actually, you feel as though you have done as much damage as you would have expected. You don't feel anything unusual or out of character.
Okay.
All right, so let's move on. Next is its turn, and thankfully, you've done the favor of getting nice and close. As you're there, and you've hit against its skin, and there's a little bit of, it's almost like a tarry substance starts to trickle out of the wound. Its arm comes slamming down, the tentacle striking out at you, and as it does, you can see the glint of the light off of all of the different like jagged pieces of coin. And you even swear what looks to be like a broken candelabra has been kind of like wedged into places in its arm as it slices down. And let's see, that's going to be a
Lumiere, no!
that is going to be a 21 to hit.
Fuck me, yeah.
For 15 points of piercing damage.
Ow! Yeah, I'm... Okay.
No.
And as it hits and it's like slices against you, I'm going to need you to make for me a charisma saving throw.
Part- 12.
So with the 12, as the coins slash against you and cut into you, the wounds feel hot for a second. And as you're sort of looking up, you look right into its big giant gemstone eyes, and you think like, oh, there's so much wealth in this room. And like you'd be crazy to let it pass you by. You are filled with the intense compulsion to pretty much Scrooge McDuck dive into the pile of coins and just start pushing them into your possessions. You are filled with a deep greed. And so mechanically what that means is that the next round on your turn, you have to spend your action trying to steal as much wealth as you can.
Okay.
All right.
I love this because this is so not Thorn. We're gonna be like, What are you doing?
I mean, it couldn't have gone better if I planned it. All right, Flip, it's your turn.
Okay. So first, I'm gonna try to hit just the money squid with fairy fire. So it needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
All right, let me make a wisdom saving throw for it.
Is that
Excuse me. Dexterity. Sorry, dexterity.
That's fine. I'm still rolling a dice. That's a 12.
So it does not make it. So it gets the ghostly group hug and is surrounded by glowing spectral fairy fire.
Yeah, so as you cast and finish the spell, a small army of these ghostly arms appear out of the ether and like start to clasp around its form. And for a second, you can see it sort of looks around and jerks back away from them in confusion before it realizes that they are indeed just spectral. But the hands sort of highlight its whole form, and you can see that all across the outside of its skin, there will look to be like little bits of broken treasure. So like it is like torn off pieces of like tapestries are kind of like stuck to parts of it. And it just kind of has that feeling of like it rolled in a pile of like basically broken and damaged treasures before pouring out of that tunnel.
Okay, so glad that worked. So then I'm gonna throw a Bardic Inspiration at Twid, which because we're using Tasha's rules, you can add that to a magical damage roll. And then I'm gonna move back a little bit, and that'll be my turn.
What's your Bardic Inspiration dice right now?
D6.
You have a D6 for the next minute. All right, so that's Flip. Valen, you're up.
All right, so first, because I saw poor Thorn get hit, I'm gonna bonus action throw a healing word at Thorn just to
What level?
level 1.
Okay.
I see how you really feel.
You don't see anything but gold right now.
Yeah.
And Valen is the greatest treasure to Thorn.
Oh my god! Now I've just cut to like Thorn trying to shove me in a bag.
Get a room.
I mean, that is how Thorn feels. Would Thorn's action not be to like fireman carry Valen out of the room?
No. The emotion that you are the desire that you are filled with is specifically a compulsion for material wealth.
I figured.
Like in your mind, what you have to do is you have to be Dijon from the DuckTales movie and have like as much treasure as possible shoved into your clothes.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I knew you would.
So, Thorn, you will heal for 8.
I will very gladly take that.
And then because I saw Money Squid, Money Octopus, hit Thorn, I'm pissed. So I need it to make a wisdom save of 14.
Is this for one of your cantrips?
Yes, for totally
Okay.
dead.
It makes a wisdom save.
Yeah.
It makes it.
Damn. Stupid squid.
So your bell boom tolls for Toll the Dead, but you see 2 of its arms have come up and pushed into like where its ears would be. It is tuning you out.
It's not even fair. You don't even look like you have ears.
Turtle Mop, you're
I
up.
will stay where I am.
Okay.
I was gonna say, Calvin, do you want to go first, or does Twid want to go first? We're both the same.
I don't particularly mind either way. I'm not doing anything that'll help you. I don't think you're doing anything that'll help me.
Dad.
Okay. Twid is pulling out Lucretia and going, okay, we gotta get out of here. Go, Lucretia! Eldritch Blast!
And you're rolling with advantage.
That fairy fire's really been paying off for you.
24 to hit.
24 to hit? That'll hit.
Okay. That'll be 13 force damage.
13 force damage? Alright. Is that all you're gonna do with your turn?
Twitter's also just gonna like back up this way. Wait, which way is the dragon tunnel?
The dragon tunnel would be to stage left.
Twitter's going to back up this way.
All right, and now we're gonna move to Calvin and Pork Roll. What are Calvin and Pork Roll going to do?
First, I'm gonna have Pork Roll run up and smack it.
All right. So roll to hit.
So natural 20 with advantage.
Ooh.
Nice.
And an 8 on my d8. So that'll be 18 points of force damage.
18 points of force damage. So Pork Roll charges up and slashes down with their samurai sword. As they do, you just see this slice of that tarish blood go flying off the edge of the blade. And you can see there's this huge rent down the side of the creature now from the force damage.
And then I'm going to run up and hopefully do the same thing.
All right, go ahead.
So with advantage, that's a 24 to hit.
24 to hit. Okay, that'll do it.
For 10 points of magical slashing damage.
All right. Same thing. It's still reeling from the wound it took from Pork Roll. You have just the perfect time to like slide up and just slash across with your blade. As you do, you open up kind of like a perfect X cross to Pork Roll's strike on it, and just continues to drool this tarry substance. Thorn, you're up, face to face with the creature and filled with a desire, this intense lust for treasure.
Well, then I guess I'm just gonna run over here and start trying to pick up treasure, and then realizing that this armor doesn't have pockets, and I'm gonna call for Flip, who I know has a bag of holding, and say, Flip, get over here, we gotta grab as much as we can. Not even in Thorn's voice, that's how weird it is.
You can give me another save if you wouldn't mind.
I'm picturing Thorn like trying to shove coins like between themselves and their armor, like really
14?
14, yeah. So you are
Thanks,
just trying to push treasure wherever you can find it, and then as you're scooping up this giant handful of gold, you have this moment of what, like, that weird dysphoria of looking down and being like, what am I doing?
This is my best save, and I rolled shit both times.
But you come to and you realize that it makes no sense for you to try to grab treasure in the middle of a fight.
Bonus action, shake the coins out of my armor.
You kind of like give a little shit and like just like loose bits of gold and like a diamond goes bing, 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 bouncing out of the back of your armor. You're not even sure how it got in there in the haze of looting you were doing. So shifting over to its turn, it sees you distracted. It's going to do the same thing. It's going to strike with its tentacle out at Calvin.
And Pork Roll is going to bat his tentacle out of the way and give him disadvantage.
Ooh, you are so lucky that you did. So with the disadvantage, it's only a 7. So the tentacle goes slashing down. Pork Roll manages to cut, and it just slams right next to you. As it does, a whole bunch of the loose coins like jump up and come scattering back down. It gives you an idea of like the force that it was hitting with. It pulls the tentacle back in, kind of letting them wave back up like it's getting ready to attack once more. But as it does, I'm going to need Twid, I'm going to need you to make for me a dexterity saving throw.
Meh. Okay. I'm going to use that bardic inspiration.
That's what bardic inspiration is for.
On this.
As those of you watching, the little jewels that are stuck into its eyes, they give a flash, and this dark purple energy shoots forward and slams into Twitch's chest.
19 with the bardic inspiration.
So as it's as it hits you, it starts to almost pool like a liquid or trying to reach around your body, and you feel it trying to slow you down. You just manage to like kind of stumble out of the way, and it shoots past you, and you can see it spatter across the coins, turning from light into like this like hardening liquid, and you see it and like seal the coins in, but you yourself are free.
Flip, don't step in that.
It is kind of like between you and Flip, there's just this ice slick of gross liquid. And I will say, Flip, you're up.
Sorry. Okay, so I am going to... Ooh. Thorn took a pretty big hit.
I got healed, I'm fine. Kill it.
I can do both.
Then do both.
I'm gonna pull out one of my Turka cards, and you see Flip going all wide-eyed again as he speaks the spirit tale of Zedigo, a hero of the Valanin. So you see a bear creature ghost, much like Marge, appear in front of Thorn and kind of jump into you, and you get 9 temporary hit points. And while you have those hit points, your move speed increases by 10 feet.
Okay.
And then I'm also going to throw a vicious mockery at the golden octopus.
Ooh, okay, hit me with the vicious mockery. Does it need to save, or...?
Yeah, wisdom save of 13 for it, as Flip is just like, oh my gosh, you're so tacky.
It fails. So you see it stop, and like where its tentacles are sort of flapping, it stops for a second and like turns them around so it can see all of the gold along its arms, and it gives a little like self-conscious, like it folds them back in, like it doesn't want you to see them.
Aww. It's only going to take 1 psychic damage, but it will have disadvantage on its next attack.
All right, so it has disadvantage for its next attack, but only with a 1 point of damage. Got it.
And that is my turn.
That is your turn? Okay. So it's going to move us on to next in initiative, which is going to be Valen. You're up.
I'm trying to decide what to do because I don't want to waste 20 spell slots because we know there's a dragon running down a tunnel at us. I'm going to try to...
But also, the longer we spend on this, the less time we have to get out.
I know. I'm going to try to Toll the Dead on it again. And I'm going to hope that it's having a bad wisdom save because it already failed on Flips.
Yeah. No, it had a bad wisdom save.
Yes.
And it's already...
It's going to take... Oh, I did not roll super great, but it's going to take 9 necrotic damage.
I mean, that's, 9 out of 12 for Toll the Dead, right?
Time, as you cast the spell Toll the Dead, the boom, boom of the bell, of like a bell tolling in the distance, sort of rocks through the creature, and you can see it shrink back, and this black, like a little bit of black veins start to course across its skin, and it almost feels like the tension or like the pressure is making the veins kind of bulge out of its skin.
I think it's time for you to take a nap. You look tired.
Wow. It did not need all the criticism on top of attacking it by breaking into its home.
Valen casts Vicious Mockery.
Twiddlemop, you're up.
To be fair, we didn't break into its home. We were forcibly brought to its home.
Tomato.
Kill it. Kill it.
Twidmato. Twid is keeping out Lucretia and just going like, okay, Lucretia, let's do this again. Eldritch Blast.
Roll a hit.
21 to hit.
21 will hit. Oddly enough.
7 force damage this time.
Alright, so as your beam hits, it slams to the creature's skin, But at the same time, one of the other tentacles you haven't seen yet slides up and kind of gets in the way, and you can see that this is covered with this mere sheen of jewels. And it's basically like someone just went and stuck a whole bunch of basically someone rhinestoned out the inside of this tentacle. As it does, the beam hits that and bounces back at you, and you are going to also take that much force damage.
Ah!
Lucretia, no!
Lucretia, you've betrayed me!
And there's one hair on Lucretia's head just and starts to shrivel and heat up.
That's all Twid's doing.
I think we're having a moment of technical difficulties.
I think Evan's frozen.
So if you just want to tell them to go. Okay.
You're back.
So, it looks like we had a little technical hiccup there for a second. Calvin, you're up.
Pork roll's gonna go smack.
With that sweet, sweet advantage.
Does a 16 hit?
16, oddly enough, does not hit.
Well then, Calvin will go smack.
Yeah. So as the pork roll slashes down with their katana, one of the tentacles just snaps up and pushes it out of the way.
18.
18 does hit.
For
So give me some of that damage.
11 points of magical slashing.
Ooh. So you slash out, seeing that it deflects Pork Roll's katana, you strike out at it. As you do, your sword hits and just... it feels like it's whatever tension was keeping its skin tight and hardened like a leather has loosened, and your blade just slides into its body. And after a moment, you're kind of wrist deep in whatever is filling the skin, and you can feel it just kind of slurp around you, and it's cold and tacky, it's sticky as you pull your blade loose.
I told you it was tacky.
You're tacky and I hate you.
Wow, Thorin, you're up.
Oh, it's not dead? Okay.
It's still up.
I don't know. I just, whenever you start describing things like that, I just assume it means that we killed it.
No, that was me describing that it looks very injured.
I'm gonna stab it.
All right, lay it on me. Hit me with that damage.
I rolled the exact same thing twice, dirty 20.
Dirty 20?
I rolled
that'll
two
do.
14s.
You hit.
10.
All right, let me see. Yeah, so you swing back again, and you cut it across the eyes, and as you do, one of the eyes and to two half pieces of this large gemstone eye goes flying off and ting 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 starts to bounce off the marble in the distance as the creature just kind of deflates in on itself and just. And after a moment, you realize it's not moving.
Now it's dead.
Now it's dead.
Okay, so then with my 40 feet of movement now, Flip, how long does that last?
As long as you have the temporary hit points, you have the extra move speed.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna run back to the...
You're gonna run back where?
Back to where we saw the grates and the big door.
Okay, so there was...
That's where the exits were.
To remind you, you're in this huge chamber that has just treasure everywhere, the sea of treasure, and there's a large depression to one side where it looks like something has smoothed out, almost like a nest inside of all of the treasure. And to either side of you, to the left and the right, about 30 feet up on either wall, near the top, are these large grates that seem to be set into the walls as though they're letting air or something in and out. And then directly in front of you at the back wall was a large vault door. That's this huge vault door set into the wall itself, with these large, elaborate locking mechanisms kind of along the front of it.
So, Flip, while we come up with a plan, you should just run around in circles, holding your bag of holding open and scooping up as much gold as you can.
Calvin, if I remember correctly, do you not have some kind of magic climbing rope?
I have,
Or is that not a thing you do?
I have rope. I can climb it. I'm magical.
I thought it was a thing you could do. A different Arcanist I know in another game could do that as one of their infusions.
There is, in fact, an infusion I could take for that, but I instead picked night vision goggles because I was like, I'm not going to use either of them anyway.
Yeah, who's gonna need magic rope going in to just meet with Meadowsweet?
You're never going to trust a meeting again. Like, with anyone. We'll be like...
Well, there's a door, too, right?
The door you came, so there's that door we came through behind you. There's the vault
Where the
door
dragon
in
is
front
coming
of
through.
you. And then there's the 2 grates to either side. And that's it. That's all you see.
Can I run up to the vault gate and try and open it?
Yeah, so you run up to the vault, and as you kind of slid to a stop in front of it, it is massive. So you get the feeling like this was designed so that Meadowsweet in the dragon form that you saw before, the large adult-size pink crystal dragon, could easily enter and exit this room. And there's a huge wheel right in the center of it that is definitely designed so that something on a larger scale could like turn and move it. And you can see that set into the very center is another little gemstone. This one actually fairly small, only about this large around in comparison to the actual dark currently.
Maybe we're better off trying the grates.
That was what Thorn was gonna do. So Thorn would have run up to the nearest grate. I don't know if I could... I'll get there.
Let's say if you're going to try to get towards one of the grates, be aware that they are above you.
Yeah, they're how far up? 30 feet up?
30 feet up.
Question.
Yes.
Near the nearest grate, in the pile of treasure,
Yes.
is there like a statue or something sturdy?
I'm going to say yes.
Basically,
There's
what
a
I would
couple
like
of
to do
statues.
is drag something close enough there so I can acrobatics up there and like jump off to get leverage rather than have to make an athletics check because my acrobatics is better.
Give me an intelligence check as you're trying to figure out a way to like Jenga some of this treasure together to make yourself a platform to get you up there.
Twit is gonna chug a healing potion after getting mirror damaged.
19.
19?
I rolled about as well as I can do because I have a +0 to intelligence.
Yeah, luckily for you, you actually notice that one of the things that seems to be in here is this really beautiful, like, antique table that someone has definitely pulled in that's sort of sitting half buried in some treasure. You pull it loose, push it over, and you throw a statue on top of it, and you realize you built yourself a pretty decent ramp up towards one of the grates. You'd still have to make, like, 10, 15-ish of a jump, feet-wise, to get to the grate, but you're much closer than you were.
That's not that bad.
No. While you're doing that, I will say, Twid and Valen, you're still near the corpse of the creature. You see that it is very fast. It is very quickly deteriorating and sort of falling into this like oil slick left behind by very like Wicked Witch of the West after she got hit with a bucket of water. As it's doing that, you can see that their one eye is still floating towards the top, and there's just this assortment of loose. In particular, you notice, like I said, damaged and jagged coins. Like it's the kind of thing that like feels like a lot of discarded treasure. As you're looking down at it, you see just to your side of you where it popped out, some of the gold just slithers down off the side of the pile, revealing that there's a tunnel, an opening inside of the pile of treasure.
So Twit is chugging a regular potion of healing.
Mm-hmm.
And then is going to turn to Valen and say, can you light up this coin for me, Valen?
And I will gladly... Boop.
Selwyn, can you fly down the tunnel? What can you find?
So Selwyn flutters down, grabs the coin from you, and zips into the tunnel. And basically, you feel Selwyn fly for a couple seconds, and it lets you know that it's a tunnel that just keeps going.
Is it big enough for us to fit in?
Yeah, so as you go up to it and kind of take a look, you get the feeling it's one of those ones where to walk in it, you'd have to hunch over.
Except for me.
Except for Twid. For Twid, it would be comfortable walking, but for the rest of the party, it would be, you have to hunch your shoulders a little bit and sort of slide into it. It's like a lower ceiling. As you get closer and look into the tunnel, though, it kind of takes you by surprise. The entire interior of it seems to be what you would consider to be like rejected and discarded treasure. So everything in here has some kind of defect. It's a statue missing an arm. It's a carpet that's torn in half. It's a tapestry that's got like stains on it. And it seems to have built itself like this warren of tunnels with that same sticky substance that it tried to hit Twid with, sticking it all together. So on the inside, it's just this tunnel designed from like busted, broken, discarded, unwanted treasure. And it leads deep into the pile of treasure that is in the middle of this dragon's horde.
Does it look like it leads to like towards a wall, like, or is it just like leading into the middle of the room?
It leads away from the middle of the room towards the wall that Thorn was looking at.
Twid is going to have Selwyn just keep going forward and is sharing sight as long as they can.
Because you can share their sight, right?
Yeah, just Twid is like can't see out of their own body.
It goes probably about 50 yards to where you think it would be getting close to the edge of the room to where Thorn was. And in particular, what you notice is the tunnel slopes downward. And after a good couple seconds of just diving down directly towards where the tunnel goes, you end up at a warren of tunnels. And you realize that there are two leading off to the same direction as Thorn went. And there's another tunnel that's looping back and going towards the opposite direction, the opposite wall.
Everyone, we found a tunnel that seems to go to more tunnels. I don't know if this is a better choice or not.
Sounds like the best choice we've got.
I mean, I'm up here. Give me one chance to break this grate, and then we'll go with the tunnel. I built the ramp. I'm going to see if I roll a 20 and see if I can break it.
As you're saying that, you're trying to like get up onto the grate. You hear in the distance and saying, excuse me, I do so hope you're not wasting the head start I gave you. Although I do suppose I have time for a glass of wine. Just one, to whet my appetite.
I want to make you mad.
So considerate.
I'm glad that we're being chased by like such a bougie dragon. Like he can't be bothered.
I mean, you know, he wants to have a nice like glass of wine. He has to figure out what pairs well with a Verdant, an Ashahai, a human. You know, there's a real cross section.
Thorn channeling all of their rage as they're trying to rip Barbarian the bars off, yells, "Clearly your mother's intelligence was overstated because she made you!" And then...
Why do you keep insulting him?
Because I'm terrified! What do I have to roll to try to rip this bar off?
Give me a strength check.
And you're going to have guidance for it, so you can...
Thank fuck.
Ooh.
Little ghost otter flies up to you.
I shit you fucking not.
Natural 20?
So with my -1 plus the D3, that's a 22.
22. So you hop up and get up towards where the grate is. You get your hands around it, and you put your feet firmly into the marble, just because you have nowhere else to
I imagine I do the thing I was always told not to do, and like use one of my swords as like a brace to yank.
Yeah, and you start to... and you are not the strongest of the Ashahai. You are built more for speed and, dexterity, but you feel like the muscles get all those deep chords in them, and you have that one vein in the neck as you're like, ugh! And with the resounding crack, the grate breaks loose, and then you suddenly realize you are in the middle of the air holding a metal grate with nothing to balance on. Luckily, you have a softish fall as you careen down into a pile of treasure. You hit it, and it's that loud clang of all these coins, like someone's dumped out an old lady's money bag onto a counter, but you're just in the middle of it. And so you just see this wave of gold with Thorn in the center come sliding down, but the grate is in your hands.
I hold up a little sign that says 10.
Thorn is just like still holding it and just breathing. And like their eyes are just blown out a little bit, like
I feel
Which way are we going?
Neither of them seem like great ideas. Huh?
None of this is a great idea.
Secret tunnel. Secret tunnel.
And as you're debating this, you hear, I do wonder, do I start with the verdant? It's like a salad. Or do I start with Flip? He is almost seafood, and that does make an excellent appetizer.
Thorn very quietly is gonna toss the grate and then whisper to whoever's nearby.
I assume whoever wants to
Yeah.
be nearby.
I mean, I'm close enough for guiding whispers, so within 30 feet.
Yeah. Take the tunnel. Hopefully he'll think we went out that way. Because like Thorn's gonna leave their barricade to get up there and like usher everyone towards the secret tunnel.
Okay, so you're trying to like throw off the scent.
Yeah, I'm gonna hope he thinks that we somehow managed, because like the grate's gonna be there. I'm hoping he's gonna think we went out that way.
Okay.
And basically Thorn's gonna go out last and try to collapse the tunnel down on top of them, so it doesn't look like it's there anymore.
Oh, all right.
Calvin's gonna push Thorn forward because Calvin was gonna use acid to close up the tunnel entrance behind us.
That works too.
At the seafood comment, Flip is gonna be like, fucking asshole, and like look down and realize that there are a bunch of gold at my feet and scoop several scoops of gold into my bag of holding.
So you just
You're
throw your
getting
bag of
pushed
holding
along.
down on the pile, and you're just, and you can see like gemstones, golds, random odds and ends, small little portraits and statues. Just at one point, you legitimately pick up in your hand just a solid bar of gold, and you're like, "Fuck it, whatever," and toss it into the bag.
The whole time it's just like, fucking asshole, that was a good fucking night. Fucking
Flip, time
Dick.
to go.
yeah, I'm not like spending too much time on it. This is like as I'm scrambling towards the tunnel.
Very
Like,
well.
I'm gonna make some money off of this. God damn it!
I'm gonna get my coin one way or another.
He didn't put it on the dresser, so you had to take drastic measures.
You dive into this tunnel, and it's a little tight and claustrophobic, and the smell is a little. It has that unpleasant ozony, like burnt metal smell for it as you get into the tunnel. But you try not to think too much about the fact that it had like excreted this particular juice that you're seeing on the walls, and just not think about it. As you are going in, though, Calvin, you said you're going to try to close the tunnel with acid.
Yes.
Give me an intelligence check as you try to like eyeball quickly what's the best way to collapse this part of the pile of treasure without burying you in a mountain of treasure.
16.
16? Okay. So you do find a few weak spots, and are you using a vial of acid or an ability, like a spell?
It's vials of acid. I am an alchemist.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to expend, how many vials of acid are you expending?
2?
Okay. So you take 2 of them, and you kind of line it all up, and you slam them into the wall, and as you do, they and very quickly as the acid hits what probably was some kind of like biological agent, it starts to dissolve very fast, and you can see the pile start to crumple into itself. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
Seven.
You take 4 points of bashing damage as a bunch of the treasure like cascades down onto you, and a couple of times you feel like thump, thump. One of those bars of gold just cracks you right upside the head. A little statue like slams you in the stomach, but you do manage to pull yourself loose. You aren't trapped in it, and you realize the entire entrance is kind of caving itself in, and the tunnel's starting to shorten a little bit.
Flip.
So you feel like you probably want to move.
How long does
fairly
aid
quickly.
last?
Aid lasts for 8 hours.
Well then I'm still at +1 hit points, so I'm good.
Hey, aid's a good spell.
Solid.
All right, and
Then
let's
yes,
see.
Calvin will start pushing everybody as the tunnel starts to collapse behind us.
Yeah, and you start to rush down, and it doesn't take you very long to get to that intersection. Like I said, there is two branches of the tunnel that go off to the, let's call it the right, but it's the direction that the broken grate was in, and then one that kind of loops back around and heads in the other direction. And this one in particular drops down, like it is kind of going into the floor, and after looking down it, you can see there's a point where it looks like something has torn open the marble, and it's now burrowing through the marble of the floor.
I mean, I know it's kind of expected for me to say it, but let's go down?
Why is that expected?
We'll explain it to you if we survive.
We'll
Okay.
explain it when you're older.
Yeah, I'll explain it when you're my age, Twiddlemop.
So the tunnel dumps down fairly quickly, so you have to take that moment of just going with it and like sitting, like basically dropping down. So you slide the last 10 feet or so, and you slide down this pile of discarded treasure until you kind of bump to the stop on the ground below. This part is, like I said, turned into marble now. It is definitely looks as though somebody has like kind of hacked it away. It does not look terribly well made. It instead looks very much like a burrowing creature that managed to just tear up these huge chunks of marble. In particular, you see there's a couple of bits of marble just kind of left lying in places as though it was like, the tunnel's good enough. I don't have to clean it up behind me. And there's still little discarded bits and pieces of treasure here as well. And you take a look to the left, you can see that someone's carved out almost like a cubby. And within it, there's a bunch of tapestries that have been pushed in, and what looks to have once been like a very elegant fainting couch that has like been, the legs have been broken off and it's been slid into this corner. And across from it is a large mirror. One of the few pieces of treasure you've seen in this little hoard that is not damaged.
Twit is gonna go up to the mirror.
I mean, you look into the mirror and there's a couple of necklaces and other like expensive bits of jewelry hanging from it, kind of giving the whole thing this opulent look to it. And there is a really beautiful scarf that has been left to like drape over the top of it. And as you get close, it has this faint hint of lavender. But you look in the mirror and it's you looking back at you. But it's very clear that whatever would sit on the couch would have a direct eye line of sight to the mirror.
Of course the money squid was vain. Staring at itself.
I'm not convinced the money squid made this. Very quick look, because I'm not spending a lot of time on this. The marble chunk. Does it look as if it's something dug down into this tunnel from the money room, or something dug up from here into the money?
I'm gonna say you have to give me a survival check as you try to figure out if there's any like rhyme or reason to the way this tunnel was dug.
That was a good question.
17.
You just don't have a ton of reference points for how the tunnel itself was dug. You get the feeling like whatever did this bored through the stone, but you can't be sure which way it went. Other than not a lot of treasure came pouring down into here. Or someone went to the effort of, while not cleaning up all the loose stones, they did clean up a bunch of the treasure.
What? I guess I should have asked this before when we were fighting the money squid. What would we need to roll to try to be like, what the hell is this thing?
Yeah, if you want to roll, I'll say it's Arcana at this stage.
I got an 18.
18. You get the feeling it was probably a construct. Very good chance that it might have been undead, having seen it like fall apart and desiccate so quickly. There are a number of constructs that can be made where you bind powerful spells to dead bodies and use like gems and things like that as focuses. You're not sure exactly what this one was, but there's a good chance that like if someone made it, essentially, someone or something made it.
Okay, yeah. So like it's not like something that like exists out in the world usually. Like this
it's unlikely that you would find one of these things in the wild unless some like wizard let a whole weird menagerie of creatures go or something.
Ooh, it was a designer squid.
Is it just a room, or is there more tunnel beyond?
There's more tunnel going beyond it. It's just in the tunnel. One side has an alcove dug out, but the tunnel continues back into the stone.
Can I just look the mirror over to see if it seems like it's some sort of magical artifact?
Yeah, give me an Arcana check.
As Flip is doing this, Twit is mage-handing the necklaces and the scarf down from the top of the mirror to the ground right in front of them.
Okay.
That's an 11 on the Arcana check.
11 on the Arcana check. You take a look at the mirror, and there's no runes or anything obvious etched into the sides of the mirror. Like, the glass is very nice, and it's very high quality. So it's definitely like worth a decent amount of money, you would imagine. But there's nothing that screams magic to you about it. No runes, no weird colors, no arcane sigils or anything branded into it or on it. You even take a moment where you do the like cartoon thing where you turn away from it and then turn back really fast to see if it's making the same expression. But nothing seems out of the ordinary. Twid, you end up, if you take all of the necklaces, there are 6 necklaces in total. There's 6 necklaces, a belt made out of these very fine interwoven golden links, and then there is what you think is probably either a bracelet or an anklet.
Ooh, these are pretty.
Well, it doesn't seem like the mirror is a magic portal out of here, so I guess we keep going?
How convenient would it be to have a magic mirror that can transport you long distances?
I don't think anybody's that lucky in a situation like this. Let's go.
Sounds like a distant memory. I think maybe in a past life we had such a thing. Or
I am
several
getting a
such
sense of
things.
deja vu now that you suggest it.
And once upon a time,
And the
right?
sudden urge to creep on someone's doorstep late at night.
Just as long as we don't find any hand mirrors.
Right here!
I guess we keep going down.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta find a way out somehow.
Just very faintly in the distance, you hear the sound of a very large footfall. Boom, 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 in the distance.
Thorn's gonna go like,
Does it seem like it's like above us? Like, are we hearing it from the chamber above us, or does it seem like he's coming?
With your passive perception, I would say you get the feeling it's coming from further up the tunnel from where you came.
Okay, yeah.
So back towards where you left Lord Meadowsweet, your draconic booty call.
Of course.
Of
Oh,
course.
God. It's booty calls that you can't get rid of. They're the worst.
And I'll say we've hit the 8:30 mark there, so this seems like a perfect time for us to pause. We're just going to take a quick 5-minute break for everyone to stretch their legs. While they're doing so, I'll just repeat the announcement we had at the beginning. This Wednesday at 7:30, we are going to be continuing our dive into the Cortex system of RPGs. We are going to be playing our very own mod, built off of our very own hack built off the mods of Cortex called Proclaimers of Heroes, where the party is going to take on the roles of immortal agents for the Muses, charged with the job of finding heroes and forging them into legends, while also making sure to stay in the background and out of the story. You are basically going to be learning the Cortex system together. We're learning how to take the system and quickly spin up your own game and really take advantage of its customization. So join us as we introduce the setting, talk about the mods that we used and why, and build characters. It'll be our session 0. And we'll see you back here in 5 minutes.